Hello and welcome to Ball Street Studios for this PalaceFanTV end of season review show. This is video 3. If you haven't watched the first 2 videos, go to the PalaceFanTV YouTube channel. You can watch them right now. I'm Jim Daly. I'm joined by the very best Palace fan bloggers on the internet. We've got Terence Ford from Red and Blue Army. We've got Crame from the Eagles Beak. Chris Grierson from eagles.cpfc.co.uk. And Jack Thurston from Hockey and Looking to Carwan. Hello, chaps.
Hello.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Thank you very much for joining me.
That was weird.
Très bien. Good. So this third video of our 4-part season review is Player of the Season. So it's been a quite memorable season for Palace, this one. Highest ever finish in the Premier League. But who's been the best player for Palace this season? Now, Dann won the official Player of the Year. But I'm going to ask you, chaps, for your Player of the Season.
MacArthur signing the season for me. Best player. Awesome.
Dann's the man. Dover away. He scored the goal. That was the beginning of the season.
So, Terry, are you going to go with Dann, or does someone else take your fancy for this season?
I voted for Dann at Player of the Year, and I'm sticking with Dann now. I feel it was a very close run thing between him and James MacArthur for me. If Jason Puncheon can ever pin 2 halves of a season together, he'll be a shoo-in. But Dann is just, he's imperious at the back. As growing up, you'll be the same, JD. You always remember whenever we put our best 11s together, we always put Craig Moore at centre-back. Didn't play many games for Palace, but you knew he was class. And I see Dann and I see that same sort of player in him. He's without doubt one of the best centre-backs I've ever seen at Palace. And an England call-up can't be that far away. You look at Liverpool and they're paying £20 million for Dejan Lovren. What's the value of Dann if you're looking in that comparison? He's class and...
What is it that he does so well? What are his qualities?
He's in the right place all of the time. His positional sense is absolutely superb. When he needs to make the tackle, he makes the tackle. He's good in the air. He can get forward and score goals. He can pass the ball. If you look at the Wilfried Zaha goal against Liverpool, he's bringing the ball down in advanced areas and finding a through ball to Yannick Bolasie, and he's got everything about him. He's amazing. Like, look at him. Look at his punham.
You are sat right by him as well, so it's absolutely perfect for you to go with. He's quite a good-looking chap as well.
Everton away in the season. Was that this season when he scored? It was this season when he scored. Yeah, in the 3-2. No, it was the season before. It's a night game. His family was stood next to us, and we were very confused that we had several Scousers standing next to us who didn't celebrate when we scored our first goal. We're just like, what's going on here? Dann scores, they're all over the place. They're in a row in front, they're in a row behind, they're going crazy. And then we spoke to him after, it was like, it's Dann's dad, mother, sister, like they was all just going crazy for him, like really nice guys, and just, massive Liverpool fans. So scoring against Everton was a big thing for him.
And he seems to have an influence over the rest of the back four, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's what you need as a centre-back. You need that communication skills along with the rest of the game, and to think that we got him for a couple of million is just astounding, really.
Okay, Jay, from the Eagles Beak, who's your player of the season for Palace 2015?
I'm exactly the same. Dann, I can't argue with that award by the club. Simply, I used to be a centre-back myself, so it was a very close run thing between James MacArthur and Dann, but I think what did it was because I played as centre-back as well, so I'll stick to that club. Dann he's got such a commanding influence across the back line. He seems to have settled down Damien Delaney as well, alongside him. I think Damien Delaney's improved an awful lot this season, just through not the silly tackles the second half of the season at least, not the silly tackles or the hot-headedness. He just seems to have that influence over him and the back line. And sometimes you don't even see Dann, and you know he's had a good game because we haven't conceded a goal, or we've won a game. He's done the simple things very well.
Are you sure you trust someone with 2 first names as a name?
Charlie Adam.
Charlie Adam.
Wouldn't trust him.
There you go.
Don't know why.
I'd trust him in our midfield.
Chris, are you gonna go for Dann as well?
No,
yes,
no.
You're not.
But
Good.
I voted for Dann in Player
Okay.
of the Year award, so I'm spreading the Grierson love, and I've gone for Puncheon.
Is that something that should happen? Good. No, I think good.
But since then, he scored that free kick against Liverpool, and it's just really nice. For the first time ever, when we get a free kick, you actually think, "Oh, I might actually score this."
It's like a penalty.
Before it was just you're just waiting to laugh. when it goes into the
Waiting to
Nutella
Laugh
box.
would be a good autobiography title for just Crystal Palace in general, wouldn't it? Waiting
Yeah,
to
Waiting
Laugh,
to
the
Laugh.
Crystal Palace years.
Or, yeah, for a terrible stand-up comedian.
We'll cut that.
Yeah,
Definitely don't cut that.
and having someone down the middle as well that's creative.
Do you think that he's flourished since moving to that central spot? Do you think that's his kind of thing?
Definitely, yeah.
Do you like him further forward or a bit
He's
deeper?
come home in more than one way.
Nice.
Croydon and midfield.
Do you like it when he's playing further forward in number 10, or sometimes he sort of sits in that Pirlo kind of role a bit deeper? How do you feel about that?
I don't know, I like halfway between.
Okay, that wasn't an offer that I gave
No,
you. So.
I would say he doesn't look out of place in the Pirlo, right? I thought, was it against West Brom where he was where it felt like
He
it
went
was
a little bit too deep. But he didn't look too deep against Arsenal though when he was in that role. So
No. It's just nice he keeps the ball and he's calm with it as well, just like Breda Hangeland.
Okay, Hangeland wasn't in your running for?
No, he's up there with nicest guy,
There
I
you
think.
go.
Palace have been brilliant this year, but James MacArthur's my man.
It's got to be James MacArthur, been unreal all season.
James MacArthur, for me, deserves player of the season. Gives 150% every game. Been absolute quality, an absolute tiger in midfield, and what a privilege to watch him.
I've got another stat for you. Joseph Punchin has taken 4 direct free kicks this season, scored 3 of them, 75% conversion rate. Does that kind of stat, Jack Thurston, get your vote player of the season?
No, but I can see why it does. I can see why Scott Dann got player of the season. I think he's an absolute Rolls Royce of a centre half. I can see why Jason Punchin got it, but for me, I look at it in a broader sense that MacArthur is my player of the season, and I think because he came in at the beginning of the season, whereas Scott Dann and Jason Punchin have been for slightly longer. I just think his energy is ridiculous. He chases a ball like. You see a lot of players chasing the ball kind of like a headless chicken, not really knowing what they're doing, but positionally he's still quite good, and technically he's up there with Punchin as the most technically gifted, without the bags of skill that you get from Zaha in terms of just his touch. He's just ridiculous.
MacArthur seems to not particularly excel in any one quality, but seems to be good.
He's like a
at
7
everything.
everywhere, yeah. That's pretty much why I've gone for him, and because it's his first season at the club and he's just gone straight into the deep end and done the business.
Signing of the season for you?
Definitely, and worth every single penny.
And you also sat right below his face, so well done. I like the way everyone sat beneath the player they're
That
going to
wasn't
vote for,
planned.
so thank you very much for doing that.
Thierry Henry has been the man that chose Yannick Bolasie to be his player of the season, and I agree. Yannick Bolasie has been absolutely fantastic.
Poor Yannick.
Poor old Yannick.
Look at that little face.
Should
Hat-trick
Yannick
of the season.
Always smiling.
Only.
Should Yannick have been in the running for player of the season?
it's until his final output is more consistent. You can say this about every winger. If every winger put every cross on the striker's head, games would finish 25-24.
They wouldn't be at Palace.
Yeah, well, you look it up and down the leagues, everyone raves about Nathan Redmond, but he does the same thing week in, week out. He'll misplace cross after cross after cross. Yannick Bolasie gets into the positions to score goals and he doesn't put the ball in the back of the net. And barring that 10 minutes of Sunderland where all of a sudden he turned into Cristiano Ronaldo, it was insane just watching it. But until he can do that on a more consistent basis, you can't talk about him in the Player of the Year sense or that 40 million bracket sense that Pardew has talked about.
I think that was only to water.
Yeah, massively, of course. I mean, he could become that player. Like, if he finds 10 goals in a season, all of a sudden people are looking at him in a very, very different light. And he has the potential to do that. And he's proving to be a bit of a late bloomer because he's turned 26. Everyone thinks he's a lot younger than he actually is. But, he's kicking on compared to the player we bought when he was for 50,000 from Bristol City. It's a massive difference.
There's parallels between him and Punchin's season, sort of fits and starts, but the difference is that when Punchin's been good, he's been outstanding more often than Bolasie has. Bolasie's been, when he's been good, he's been very good, but Punchin's been man of the match in so many games since Pardew's taken over that sort of pushed him into the contention with Dann and MacArthur, because otherwise he'd be nowhere near. If he carried on the same way he was under Warnock he'd be nowhere near. So
there's also at Palace we tend not to like to give attacking players player of the season. It always tends to be someone defensive or a goalkeeper.
It hasn't been attacking
AJ.
since AJ.
Yeah. So that would have been
and even before that, you had
2005.
Mullins, Fanzi, people like that.
Yeah, Klein's won it. Speroni's won it.
Jonathan
obviously
Parr.
a bunch of time.
Jonathan
That
Parr
was stole it.
Milan.
If it wasn't Johnny Parr, it would have been Anthony Gardner though.
Johnny Parr played 2 seasons in a row, didn't he? Effectively, he played like 73 games in a year.
He was effectively half man, half robot.
Yes, exactly.
But isn't it testimony to how far this squad has come and how versatile it is that there wasn't really a clear winner? Yes, Scott Dann won, but all these players could have technically won it. Like that, we haven't had that for a long time, have we?
No, not at all. I think you mentioned that Punchin could have, if the vote was after the Liverpool game, that free kick again, he could well have taken it.
Yeah.
It was that close between quite a few players.
Clever free kick.
There's so many players that have had such a big input this season that it could have been one from 5 or 6. It's been
even Joe
close.
Ledley, unsung hero, because he does the simple things. He does the unfashionable stuff of just sort of even collecting the ball and just spraying it out left or right. You're not going to see him scoring 35-yard screamers or whatever, but he does the basics, and you rarely see Joe Ledley lose the ball.
Still scored a couple of winners.
Well, yeah,
Liverpool, Leicester.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that knee slide in the Leicester celebration? Across half the pitch, left the mark. And what was funny is turning up at the game, before I say this, other designer labels are available. That football pitch looked like a Burberry check garment. It was ridiculous the way they'd mowed the grass in. Joe Ledley heads the ball in off the underside of crossbar, knee slides for about 10 yards and just leaves 2 perfect lines in the ground.
He had got the knee sliding at Liverpool very wrong.
Yes.
That's how he did it.
Is that surprising on the Selhurst Park turf? I don't think that's surprising at all.
But nice to see him get it right against Leicester. So there you go. Chaps, I'm going to do some quick fire questions for the end of this one. So just the first thing that comes to your head, and we'll see if you all agree. Goal of the season, Chris.
Shamak's one where he rounded the keeper.
Southampton away.
Southampton away. Yeah, I like the build up to it. It was really nice, wasn't it? Wolf out to Joel Ward with the great cross in and then rounded the keeper.
Classy goal.
Yeah.
Jack.
Punching against Man City. Free kick.
Why?
Just, if anyone watched him on Sky TV a couple of weeks later, his explanation about how he watches the keeper, how he goes for the opposite corner, and if the keeper stays central or to the left behind his wall, it just fascinated me, and that goal just summed up a lot about what he's done for us this season.
He's a matchman, isn't he? He's a real, for the first time in a while, I feel like he is a proper, genuine matchman.
It was up until the penultimate game of the season, it was Shamak at Southampton for me. That's what I voted for in the official award, but Punchin's free kick at Liverpool is incredible. The whole conversation with Scott Dann, the look on Scott Dann's face when he realises it's worked, when he's ducked up on the ball, is just beautiful. And just any time being a goalkeeper, any time you leave a goalkeeper standing, for me, that's class.
Jack?
Not technically the best goal, but a goal that sort of showed someone's versatility. I think Zaha's goal against Stoke, because for so long he's been someone that sort of collects the ball relatively deep and tries to beat 1, 2, 3 players, and that goal kind of showed what Pardew said he'd been trying to coach into, the gambling, so you move 1-on-1 with the keeper and whatever, and it was a cool finish as well, so it just sort of showed that there is another side waiting to come out from Zaha.
Continuing the quick fire, moment of the season, Terry.
Jason Punchin against Spurs. The whole build-up the week before, the situation at the darts where he had the confrontation with the Spurs fans outside, and football just sometimes offers up that very timely fixture where you can just say, I'm going to ram this back in your faces, and the emotion that he outpoured, and sometimes you can hate Sky or whatever, it can sometimes be a bit too much, all the money being thrown in, but sometimes they catch amazing moments, and just him screaming in the corner, just letting off that whole attention. And I said it after, I was like, this is the moment where he can shed all of these frustrations from the season and propel us to being safe from relegation for the rest of the season. And he did it.
Good answer. I did say quick fire, but that's fine.
Apologies.
Jay, moment of the season?
The hat-trick by Yannick Bolasie at Sunderland, that's mine. For the simple reason I was driving home from a week away that day, And my son said to me, listening to the cards of the first half, it's a boring first half. And I said, don't worry, we're waiting until we get home and then they're going to score goals. And we got in and I was like a big kid every time Bolasie scored a goal. And it's Bolasie. I mean, we know how inconsistent in front of goal he is, and those 3 goals was brilliant.
He's a big kid as well, isn't he? Bolasie? He's a big kid.
Still not quick fire. I think Bolasie scored his 3 goals quicker than that.
Chris, moment of the season?
Bolasie hat-trick.
Hey, that's what I'm talking
there
about.
you go.
You can elaborate if you want.
Yeah, because everyone left. It was amazing. At Sunderland, just flip, all the seats went, bye. And I was sat amongst them, it was great.
Good. Jack?
Zaha's leveller against Newcastle. The prodigal son returned.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Earlier on in the season as well. Good. Well done. Game of the season. Right. Game of the season, Terry.
Start with Jack.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Jack, game of the season.
Liverpool the other week was there. Brilliant. Amazing. And despite how much we, dislike Liverpool sometimes, it was good to be there for Giles' last game, and I thought our fans were class, honouring him and whatever, but going back to the free kick, Punchett's free kick, and how it was sort of arranged and whatever, and it was just a great day out, so yeah.
It was a perfect
just
game.
the whole day, really. Yeah, the whole
Perfect
day.
game, wasn't it?
Yeah, really.
Chris, game of the season?
Man City, home, under the lights. Beat them fair and square. It wasn't like they had... Yeah. Game of 3 halves. No, it was perfect.
It was good.
Yeah.
Something about Selhurst under the lights, isn't there?
Stop.
A bit more...
There is.
Sorry, wait. That's not a picture. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is a fortress.
Okay. Jay, game of the season?
Burnley away.
Ooh, good job.
Just the significance of it, 2-0 down, and the changes Pardew made to get us back in the game. Horrible day, horrible afternoon weather-wise, and we got back and didn't just level, we won the game. So
Yeah.
I think it was a massive part of our season.
Deservedly so. Terry, game of the season?
On the fact that 2 of my favourites got covered off, I'll go Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 3, because he got rid of Warnock.
Ooh, controversial choice.
Like a bitter ex-girlfriend.
But that's fair enough. Right, final quickfire question for this video. Beard of the season, because there are quite a few at Palace. Terry, beard of the season.
Other than Jack and I, obviously.
You can vote for yourself if you want.
Mine's really patchy.
For
It's not
an interview
bad.
I didn't get a job for, so
We are
Prideful.
commiserations.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
On the grounds that my girlfriend loves Mila Jednak, so I'm going to go Joe Ledley.
Good. Well, that's a very strong first beard. Jay?
I can't go past that. Joe Ledley for sure.
Good,
Yeah,
strong.
beard,
Hipster,
yeah.
great
Oh,
hipster.
definitely.
Are we
Yeah.
okay with that?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Chris?
Oh, Ledley as well. Yeah, lots of food in it.
Really?
Yeah, seconds. Dessert.
It might be a sweep of the board. Are you going to go Ledley?
yeah, go on then.
Ledley!
Well, you can't go Speroni, can you? He's
It's
got
a good
the worst beard ever.
He looks like Pepe DeMarco.
Think, Jules, it's a good beard. Stick with it, my friend. Good. Okay, that wraps up part 3 of our end of season review show here at PalaceFanTV. Make sure you subscribe for all the latest PalaceFanTV videos and check out videos 1 and 2 and video 4. We'll be looking forward to next season. So thanks for joining us and see you soon.
Taking a manager from Newcastle shows a lot of intent. Now, Newcastle aren't as massive of a club as they like to make out that they are. Real Madrid of the North, or whatever they want to call themselves.